Our next guest is living proof that you can do anything if you put your mind to it. 2 years ago, Martin Hibbert was left paralysed from the belly button down when a bomb went off at an Ariana Grande concert in the Manchester Arena.
Well, determined to defy the odds, he's embarked on a revolutionary treatment journey where he has since stood up unaided, learned to drive an adapted car and even befriended a Hollywood star.
Oh, Martin joins us now to tell us your story. And it is, I mean, it's too good to be true in some ways. It's such a magical story. It starts in horror, and this is the 22nd of May, and it's the story we've reported so many times here. The Manchester Arena, you were there with your daughter, and you were the closest casualty to the bomb going off that survived.
Yeah.
And you remember, I mean, lots of people sort of go, I don't remember, thankfully, but you have full memory of the night, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, obviously on and off, but, you know, obviously the police liaison officer told us that I actually bumped into the terrorist on the way out through the doors. Which obviously I don't remember that bit, but certainly, you know, going through the foyer and then hearing the bomb go off and then almost kind of going into high-pitched sound, and I knew instantly something terrible had happened, and then literally spent, you know, an hour, you know, knowing that I was dying and watching my daughter dying in front of my eyes as well.
This is Eve,
Yes.
Your daughter. What were the injuries that you both sustained?
So thankfully, I shielded her from the majority of the shrapnel. So I suffered 22 shrapnel wounds, all bolts, all across my body from head to toe. The two more serious were one that hit me in the side of the neck and severed two of my main arteries. And again, I think there was a guardian angel standing over me, because we were told that all the bolts and shrapnel were travelling at 90 miles an hour, so they were saying that literally should have gone straight through. And the surgeons were amazed to find the bolt in my stomach, so it had gone through my neck and I'd swallowed it.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
And the other one was
And the other one
that
hit
was
me and severed my spinal cord, so I've now got a T10 complete spinal injury, which in layman's terms means I'm paralysed from the belly button down. But obviously I didn't realise that at the time, so but I could, obviously I was losing a lot of blood. But my main thing really, because I didn't think I was going to make it, and so I spent an hour basically making peace with myself and just thinking, you know, this is it. But I was determined to stay alive just to make sure my daughter Eve got out.
How is Eve?
She's doing better. She suffered a really bad head injury, so she suffered one bolt got through and unfortunately hit her in the head and went straight through. So she suffered, you know, a catastrophic brain injury. But again, she's a little miracle herself. We're told, we believe that she's the only person to survive that injury.
My gosh.
To the extent where they've actually written a paper on her, so that if anyone else, you know, suffers that type of injury, then they know how to care and look after them. So we're both little miracles, really.
So you are told then that the extent of your injuries will mean that you will never walk again.
Right.
And when you're told that, in your head, you're thinking, I'm not going to believe that. I am not going to believe that.
Yeah, my wife calls it being stubborn. Yeah, it was, I think, you know, to be told that, and I think, because they didn't tell me for a good 2 or 3 weeks, because obviously they had a lot of injuries. So actually, the spinal injury, they weren't actually concerned about. It was more the injury to my neck, because obviously with blood flow and I was at risk of a stroke and things like that. So I think in the early days when I was in intensive care, it was more kind of the other injuries that I'd received. But yeah, to kind of be told that you're never going to walk again, you think that's pretty much it. And I'd given up a very lucrative job to go self-employed a month before to look after my football agency. And you kind of sat there thinking, you know, my life's over, how we're going to pay for bills. But, you know, the doctors and nurses are telling you you've got to concentrate on getting better. Yeah. But, you know, you do, as a man and as a, you know, the breadwinner, you think, God, you know, how are we going to survive?
Well, the public have been amazing, incredible support, generous support.
Yes.
There was the concert to raise money as well. And then you get a call, a life-changing call, really, from Australia, from Ken Ware, in the neurophysics therapy clinic in Queensland. And so, to cut a long story short, you go to Australia. What is it that he can offer you there that you couldn't get here?
there isn't really a lot, and obviously, again, not to be too critical on the NHS, because obviously they saved my life, and everybody at Salford Royal, I said I'd name drop them, Mr Saxena, my spinal surgeon, and they basically saved my life. And you know, every time I go over there, I make sure that I see them all, because I certainly wouldn't be here. You know, Mr Saxena had literally just done a 12-hour shift and was driving home when he heard what had happened, and literally just turned around and came back and then whipped on me for 14 hours.
So why Australia?
Well, they don't. It's the only place that they do it. So basically, over here, you're almost told, you know, here's your wheelchair, kind of get on with life.
But over there, I mean, it's intensive, isn't it? I mean, you are there for a short period of time, and while you were there, I mean, the changes it makes to you, it progresses quickly, but it's exhausting.
Yeah, of course it is. I mean,
is it extreme physio? What is what is it they're doing?
So the first time I went was, I mean, I'd only been out of hospital like 3 months, so my body was still kind of recovering. But the opportunities was just, you know, too great. And I'd been introduced to Steve Cook, who was the first person to go from the United Kingdom, and he walked through my living room.
Wow.
And he'd had a similar injury 2 or 3 years previous. So that was a big motivation. And I didn't really want to know too much about it, because I didn't want to have any preconceived ideas. I just wanted to go there.
Well, as you say, you know, you're not saying here this is a miracle. It's hard work, but you do progress quickly when you're actually there. How did Chris Hemsworth come into the story?
So that was on my second visit this year. So we'd made a decision that if I was going to come back out again, that I'd go for a longer time. So I went for 4 months this time, which again was hard because my wife Gabby only came for 3 weeks. So I spent a good 3 months out there on my own, which I think a few family members were quite worried about, given kind of some of the complications that I've had with my injury. But it was just a friend that was out in Australia, and they mentioned that their sons did motocrossing with Chris Hemsworth, and would I want to meet him? Because I'd been told, I think we'd watched the new Avengers film when we were out there, and I said, obviously, I'm a big Marvel fan and a big film buff. They just said, you know, well, let's see if we can make it happen, not thinking anything of it.
Well, it did happen. You went to his house, didn't you?
Yeah. So, and it was at the time as well when all the stuff was kicking off with Liam and Miley, so I didn't really kind of think anything would happen. And then the next thing, it's like, he's read your story, and that's it. You go into Byron Bay, you go into his house, and it was just like, nah, I can't believe it.
Well, you've set yourself some challenges. I know you've already done the Great North Run in your wheelchair, and you did that really quickly after the event. It was amazing what you did. But you have got your sights set on doing it again. Tell me what the challenge is. So
I'm going to reveal exclusively on this morning that we're talking with the Great Run at the minute, because they've been big supporters, and I'm going to be doing it in 2020. I couldn't do it this year because I was in Australia, but I'm going to be doing it with my friend Lee Freeman and Cal Pemberton, and I'm going to be in my calipers, and I'm going to try and walk it.
Amazing.
So the man that was told that he wouldn't walk is going to walk the Great North Run.
And Chris Hemsworth said, if you get to a stage where you can walk the red carpet, I want you to walk the red carpet with me.
Yeah, so he said that when we were having a cup of tea at the house, and I just said, well, you know, he said, if I'm ever in London, we'll kind of meet up and have a coffee. And I said, well, hopefully I'll be walking by kind of 2021, so come and see Thor. And he said, right, well, if you are, we'll walk down the red carpet together. So I was like, you're on.
And then I reckon he's going to walk down your red carpet for the movie of your life, actually, which I'm sure someone's going to write, because it is incredible.
Yeah, but I think I'll have a bit of I think my wife wants to walk down with him. And, I think,
in the back of the queue.
Thank you.
Lovely to meet you.
Thank you for coming today.
Good luck with everything.
Well done.
Keep up the good work.